Good morning, loved ones. Today I was reading Genesis chapter 15 and verse 1. In Genesis 15, verse 1, God speaks two promises to Abram to encourage him and to help him combat fear. And I think both these verses both these promises come to us in a way that applies to us directly and will help us overcome particular fears that we may wrestle with. These words that I'm going to read from Genesis chapter 15 and verse 1 are spoken to Abram right after he has finished a battle with 5 different kingdoms, with 5 different armies. Here's what God says to Abram. After these things, the word of the Lord came to Abram in a vision. Fear not, Abram. I am your shield. Your reward shall be very great. And so what God speaks to Abram is to help him conquer his fears, to overcome his fears. Fear specifically about 2 things. That would be 4. 2 things. Fears about the unknowns in life, and also it appears fears about unrealized reward. So I have a question for you. Do you fear what will happen in life? Particularly, are you finding yourself increasingly upset and undone and distressed about what's going to happen in the future for you, for your family, for your children, for your grandchildren? With everything that is going on, do you find yourself being weary, being fretful, being anxious, being fearful? You can understand that Abram might be thinking, okay, I have come through this time of battle and it's been successful. But now there are 5 armies out there that might seek to come against me in revenge, seek to come against me in retaliation. And so Abram might be fearful. To Abram and to us, God says, fear not, I am your shield. Loved ones, it doesn't matter how difficult life will be. By God's grace, life won't be so difficult for us, but we know that's not most people's experience. But by God's grace, in the middle of our difficulties, in the middle of our battles, in the middle of living a life where the future seems to be more and more difficult to see, more and more confused, more and more dim, God would say this to us, fear not. I am your shield. And then secondly, he says to Abram, your reward shall be very great. I don't know exactly what God is speaking to Abram here, but he's speaking to the comfort Abram's heart to let him know he's not going to miss out. No matter how things transpire, he's not going to miss out on life's best because he has the best reward. Your reward, God says, will be very great. Our reward comes to us from God. Our reward is secured to us by God. And so, loved ones, whatever it is you might be fearful of in the future that is unknown, lost time with your family, opportunities unrealized, maybe you fear persecution will prevent you from living your life in the way that you have lived it up until this point and how you desire to live it into the future, God would say to you in the same way he said to Abram, your reward, let me get this exactly right, your reward shall be very great. These are promises that God gave to Abram that I believe apply directly to our lives. And they are intended, I believe, to overwhelm our fears of the future, as well as our fear of missing out on reward. Loved one, God says, fear not. I am your shield. No matter what comes against you, you're going to make it. Your reward shall be very great. And so when we hold on to these promises overwhelm our fears. My understanding of God's promises are this, that promises are more things from God that are intended to hold on to us rather than for us to hold on to them. When we believe the promises of God, it's not, oh, I hope this is real. Please don't take this away from me. When we believe the promises of God, they take hold of us So you're going to be okay. Come to your senses. Lift your eyes from the struggle. Don't meditate on an unknown future, but look to me, the one who will bring you your promise, the one who will satisfy you with an appropriate reward, and the one who will protect you with his might. I am your shield. I hope that this thought is encouraging to you today. God bless.